Christmas! Welcome to the 12 days of service. Alyssa and I are at my sister's house, and she has this awesome book sitting under her tree called Santa is Coming to Florida. So we're going to read this today, and we have Jovi running the camera for us, so thank you, Jovi. Alyssa, are you going to help me read today?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get started, and we haven't read this one before, so we're going to just go with it. Hopefully we can get through the whole book without having to stop. Santa is coming to Florida. Well, beamed Santa. Have all the children from Florida been good this year? Well, mostly, answered the little old elf as he bustled across the busy workshop to Santa's desk. Santa peered down at the elf from behind the tall, teetering pile of letters that the children of Florida had sent him. Mostly? Asked Santa, looking over the top of his glasses. Yes, but they've all been especially good in the last few days, said the elf. Jolly good, chuckled Santa. Then we'd better get their presents loaded up. Even though the sack of presents was really, really big and the elves were really, really small, they seemed to have no trouble loading it onto Santa's sleigh. Though how they managed to fit such a big sack into one little sleigh, even they don't know. But somehow they did. Splendid, boomed Santa. We're ready to go.
Not quite, Santa, said the little old elf. One of our reindeer is missing.
Missing? Which reindeer is missing? Said Santa. The youngest one, Santa, said the elf. It's his first flight tonight. I've called him and called him, but just then a young reindeer strolled up, munching on a large carrot. Where have you been? Asked Santa. But the youngest reindeer was crunching so loudly, it was no wonder he hadn't even heard the little old elf calling. Oh, well, never mind, said Santa, giving the reindeer a little wink. He took out his Santa nav and tapped in the coordinates for Florida. This will guide us to Florida in no time. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
With the flick of the reins and a jerk of the harness, off they went racing through the sky. Ho, 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 laughed Santa. We'll soon have these presents delivered to the Sunshine State.
Yay, to the Sunshine State!
Santa's sleigh flew through the starry night, heading south across the Arctic Ocean. On they flew in the wintry air high above Canada. In the wink of an eye, the sleigh was flying over the Midwest and on past Georgia. The youngest reindeer was very excited. He had never been away from the North Pole before.
That's a brand new book. The pages are stuck together. They were just nearing Miami Beach when suddenly they ran into a thick fog. Mist swirled around the sleigh. They couldn't see a thing. The youngest reindeer was getting a bit worried, but Santa didn't seem concerned. In 2 miles, said the Santa nav in a bossy lady's voice, keep left at the next star. But ma'am, said Santa, I can't see any stars in all this fog. Soon they were hopelessly lost. Ding dong, ding dong. Then, through the foggy blanket, the youngest reindeer heard a faint ringing noise. Ding dong, ding dong. He looked over the old reindeer with the red nose, but he had his head down. I wonder who that reindeer was. Ding dong, ding dong. Then there was that sound again, like church bells ringing. The youngest reindeer turned around to look at Santa, but Santa wasn't listening. He seemed to be arguing with the little box with buttons on it. With a flick of the harness and a jerk of the reins, the youngest reindeer gave a sharp tug and headed off toward the sound of the bells, pulling Santa and his sleigh behind him. Whoa, cried Santa, pulling his hat straight. What's going on? Then, to his surprise, he heard the ringing again. "Well done, young reindeer," he shouted cheerfully. "It must be Trinity Cathedral. Don't worry, children, Santa's coming." Then, suddenly, crunch! The sleigh hit something as it plummeted through the fog. "You have arrived," said the Santa Nav unhelpfully.
Finally, when the fog had lifted, Santa discovered exactly where they were, stuck right near the very top of the Freedom Tower. Everybody pull! The reindeer pulled with all their might until, at last, with a screeching noise, the sleigh scraped clear of the tower, and Santa steered them safely over the palm trees along Biscayne, over the amphitheater, and down in Bayfront Park.
Luckily, there was no real damage done, but the packages had all been jumbled. Santa quickly sorted them out and put them in order again. "All right," said Santa. "Thanks to this young reindeer, I know where we are now. Don't worry, children, Santa is coming." Let's see, want to read this one?
Sure. Santa drove his sleigh expertly from rooftop to rooftop all over Florida, popping in and out of chimneys as fast as he could go, which was pretty fast for a chubby fellow.
There were big chimneys in Tallahassee and small chimneys in Daytona Beach. He squeezed down thin chimneys in Orlando and plummeted down fat chimneys in Fort Lauderdale. The youngest reindeer was amazed at how quickly they went. Santa never seemed to get tired at all, and it looked like the children in Florida were going to have a very lucky Christmas this year. But the youngest reindeer was starting to feel a little bit weary and quite hungry. Go ahead.
In houses after houses, Santa delved inside his sacks for packages of every shape and size. He piled them under the Christmas tree and carefully filled up their stockings with surprises. In house after house, the good children of Florida had left out a plate of cookies, a small glass of milk, and a big crunchy carrot. Santa took a little bite out of each cookie and a tiny sip of milk, wiped his beard, and popped the carrots into his sack. From Panama City to Bal Harbor, from Tampa to Sarasota, from Vero Beach to Coral Gables, and all the places in between, Santa and his sleigh visited every house in Florida. Santa delivered presents to Andrew, Allison, Anna, Arabella, Archie, Ashley, the list went on and on. Zach, Zara, Zeb, Zoe,
Zibble?
Zibble? That must be a spelling mistake, surely.
Finally, Santa had delivered the last present on his long journey. "Great moons and stars," sighed Santa. "It's past midnight, and my sack seems to be as heavy as ever. I hope I didn't forget anyone." Santa opened his sack to check, but it was full of juicy, crunchy carrots. Santa divided the carrots among all the reindeer. "Well done," he said, patting the youngest reindeer gently on his nose. Go ahead and read the bottom.
But the youngest reindeer didn't hear him. He was too busy munching. Then it was time to set off for home. Santa reset his Santa Nav once more to the North Pole, and soon they were speeding past River Place Tower, along the St. Johns River, through the crisp, starry nights.
"Ho, ho, ho," laughed Santa. "Merry Christmas, Florida!" Thank you, Alyssa. That was a great little story. And thank you to my sister Maggie for letting us borrow this awesome little book to read for our 12 days of service. Bye.
Bye.